Every year, the environment covers more than 40% of the Earth, which sounds like a lot until you remember the ocean covers 70%. And nobody ever complains about the ocean taking up too much space, even though it contributes absolutely nothing to housing development and occasionally eats boats for no reason. People always say you can't drink ocean water, but nobody ever explains why the ocean doesn't just try harder. It's not like rivers are out here bragging, yet rivers get all the credit because they look like maps someone forgot to finish. Fish don't care about rivers though. They just care about swimming in one direction until they forget what they were doing. Which is also how most people shop in grocery stores. Attention spans are apparently shrinking, but that's not stopping birds from spending 8 full hours screaming at nothing, which must be nice. I'd love to yell at random objects with no consequences, but people would call that behavioral instability instead of a charming part of the ecosystem. The ecosystem has never had to explain itself, which is why mushrooms get away with being vegetables, meat substitutes, and entirely sentient furniture, depending on what forest you're standing in. Fungi can apparently talk to each other through underground networks, which is impressive until you realize humans can barely maintain a group chat. Group chats, by the way, always include one person who doesn't say anything for 3 months, and then replies LOL to a conversation that ended weeks ago, which is exactly what cicadas do when they wake up after 17 years and just start screaming into the void because they forgot what their original point was. Cicadas are lucky they can get away with that. People don't let you hibernate for a decade and then suddenly reappear to yell. People expect you to contribute to society, which mostly just means paying for things that used to be free, like water or sitting down. Sitting down is one of those activities nobody ever talks about as an achievement, even though standing up gets all the credit for being hard. Standing desks were invented to make sitting feel like a failure, but no one tells you that standing for too long makes your knees start filing complaints with your spine. Knees are easily the whiniest part of the body, considering how much they crack for no reason. Ghosts, by the way, are probably just people who were bad at time management, which makes sense because most hauntings are located in castles and Victorian houses. Have you ever noticed ghosts never hang around modern office buildings? Apparently fluorescent lights kill the vibe, which is ironic since fluorescent lights are already a form of haunting for anyone forced to work under them. Offices, though, are mostly just holding pens for humans trying to remember what they were hired to do, which usually involves making spreadsheets nobody understands, except Kevin from accounting, who looks like he hasn't blinked since 2009. Blinking is weird too, because it's one of those things you do constantly, but only notice when someone points it out. Like breathing, which makes it very rude when someone mentions breathing, because then you have to manually do it for the next 3 minutes. If you ever want to ruin someone's day, just say, "You're breathing right now," and watch as their lungs suddenly forget how to behave naturally. Lungs are strange anyway, 2 big sacs of air just chilling inside your chest, like balloons that refuse to let you have any fun. Fun, it turns out, is highly subjective, which is why some people enjoy collecting stamps and others enjoy base jumping off cliffs, and yet nobody questions either activity because the human brain is 70% water and 30% confusion. If you could look inside a brain, it would probably look like a grocery store full of misplaced bananas, forgotten conversations, and one bird screaming into the fluorescent void.